So I left last time one example. The example is it's for adding a rational expression. For adding rational expressions. So the example is, what is 2 over x plus 6
you remember the time I beat you in the shop?
plus 1 over x squared minus 36. So how can I think about this question? Will give me idea. How can like adding two fraction?
We could start by factoring them.
I start by factoring. Is good idea. By using, what about if I use the least common denominator? Okay, he said we can start by factoring. Yes, this is true. Make the denominator are the same, exactly. So how can I make the denominator are the same? By using the least common denominator. So this is mean I have to factor the denominator for the first fraction, factor the denominator for the second fraction. So the factor of x plus 6 is, what is it? What is the factor for this denominator? X plus 6 is the same, x plus 6. I cannot factor it more. It's factored already. Second one, Martin, is not x minus 6, is x plus 6 only. So the factor for x plus 6 is factored. We cannot factor it more. The factor of x squared minus 36 is, what is the factor for x squared minus 36?
So x plus 6, x minus 6?
X plus 6 times x minus 6. Why? By using the property, I talked about this property last time. It's called difference. It's called difference. Who will remind me the name for the property? Who will remind me the name for this property? What is the name for this property?
The difference of squares, right?
Yes, exactly.
Special factoring formula, difference of
Yes.
squares.
Difference of squares. It's look like a square minus b square equal a minus b times a plus b. The difference of squares. So we're using this one in this one for the second denominator. Okay, so now we go back to the fraction and we multiply whatever is not here in the denominator by using the second one. So first things, we have to cancel whatever is similar. So we have x here actually multiplying by 1. So x plus 6, we cancel it by this one. And here left is 1, and here is left x minus 6. So this is mean for the first fraction, we're going to multiply whatever left for factoring for the second fraction. So here x plus 6, we multiply it by this guy, x minus 6. And this one, again, we multiply the 2 by x minus 6. For the second fraction, we multiply by whatever left for this factor is 1. So we multiply by 1, we multiply by 1. So the attendance sheet again, who doesn't have it, please fill it. It's in the chat. Okay, so now after we multiply the numerator and denominator by x minus 6, we simplify it. So we get one denominator. So x minus 6 times x plus 6, they give me the same like this denominator, x squared minus 6 minus 36. That means the denominator are equal right now. Okay, let me continue solving this one. So this is giving me 2 times x minus 6 plus here 1 times 1 is 1, and the denominator after I'm multiplying this here, this parentheses, they become are same, so it become like x squared minus 36. Raheen, Rahina, so the link, every class I'm going to send different link. This link is the attendance sheet. So every class has a different attendance sheet. So I am going to send it right now. It's in the chat and please fill it. This is the attendance sheet for like every class. I'm going to send you in the chat different attendance sheet. Let me continue solving this question, this example. So 2 times, now we distribute the 2 inside the parentheses. So 2x, because 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 6 minus 6, I mean, is minus 12. Here we have 1 plus 1 over this denominator, x squared minus 36. And if we need to simplify it more, this will give me 2x minus 12 plus 1 is minus 11 over x squared minus 36. That's it. Any question? So this is the answer. Anyone has a question? So the idea is factoring both by using the least common denominator, by factoring each of the denominator for each fraction. Now let's go to the 1.5. Equations. One point five equations. What is the mean of equation? What is the equation? What does that mean, equations? Have you heard about equations before? Any answer? So equation, I think no answers, is a statement such that it's a statement of like two mathematical expression.
That are equal, right?
Yes, exactly. This is the important things. That two mathematical expression are equal. So this is the equation. If I see something math expression equal to the math expression, this is mean equations. Like in simple way, 3 plus 7 equal 10. Okay, this is the simplest things. So this is mean here. This is a mathematical expression. Equal to another mathematical expression. So mathematical expression are equal to another mathematical expression. This is mean. This is equation. See, this is mean. All of these inside is equation. So this is the mean of equation. Like a brief to know what's the mean of equation in math. Now I'm going to give you properties of this equation. Of equality. So I have to give you properties for the equality. So first property says, if I have two equations, the first equation A equal B. This is equation. A equal B is all of these is equation. Okay. So if I want to add the same quantity to the both side of this equation, like if I want to add, like for example, C plus C for both of side of this equation, they will give me another equation. It's look like A plus C. It's look like A. They will give me another equation, A plus C equal B plus C. So this equation are equivalent to this equation. This is mean this equation and this equation, both of them are equivalent. So when I add the same quantity to the both sides of the equation is the same, I get another equation are equivalent to the first equation. Second property said, if the same things I have equation A equal B, and I want to multiply by non-zero element, multiply by C, but this C is not zero. So I'm going to have another equation. It's look like AC equal BC, such that this equation is equivalent to this equation. Here C not equal 0. It's any real number but not equal 0. Makes sense? So this is the two property of equation. If I want to add the same quantity for both sides, I will get another equation equivalent to the first one. If I want to multiply and quantity, same quantity to the both sides, I will get equation equivalent to the first one. Okay, so now the important things, how to solve linear equation and how to solve any equation, I mean. So we're going to know how to solve equation, but I'm going to start by the simple equation is called linear equation. So solving linear equation. This is the simplest equations. We will start solving for this section. But first of all, what is the meaning of linear equation? Anyone hear about this definition? Linear equation. What is the meaning of linear equation? Can you give
It's
me?
a line with an infinite solution for the equation.
Can you express it as like variables? How it's look like as a variables?
Oh, it would look like y equals like like if we were going to put this in a coordinate plane, it
Okay,
would look like y equals mx plus b.
mx plus b. This is true. This is like equation, linear equation. But in general, like linear equation, it's like equation but look like has a variable x,
A y-intercept and a slope and a slope.
but the x has exponent to the power 1. So any equation of the form like this has one variable inside, and this variable has exponent 1. This is mean a linear equation. So I can define it as is an equation of the to the this equation equivalent. I mean, this equation is equivalent to one of the form. It's look like a times x plus b equals 0. Look, the exponent for the x, the variable is 1. So any uh, something or any equation look like this is called linear equation. A and b, both of them are real numbers. X is a variable with exponent equal 1. I give you example. By this examples said which of this is linear and which of them is not linear. Which of the following is linear equation? So first one, 4x minus 5 equal 3. Second one, square root of x minus 6x equals 0. 3 over x plus 5x equal 1. 4 x over 2 minus x over 3 equal here let me change it x over 2 minus 6 equal x over 3. Who will solve the first one?
Linear.
Why it's linear?
You have an x to the power of 1 minus a real number of x to the power of 1 minus a number.
Okay, perfect. So this is linear. Why it's linear? Because it's look like here, ax plus b. The exponent, the variable x, has power 1. Look, the power for x is 1. And if I want to make it like similar to this form, I can subtract the 3 from this side to this to become in this side, and I will get 0. And it's gonna be look like this, ax plus b. So I can make it equivalent to this one by 4x minus 6 minus 5 minus 3 equal 0. And this is equal 4x minus 5 minus 3 is minus 8 equals 0. And this is exactly similar to this one. So it's a linear equation. So the answer yes. Second one, is it linear?
Non-linear
Is not linear. Why?
with the square root.
Square root.
Square root. So this is not linear because square root of x minus 6x equals 0. This is equivalent to x to the power 1/2 minus 6x equals 0, and we have 1/2. So this is mean is not a linear. So the answer is no. Third one. This is linear.
Non-linear
Why?
because you have two s values.
Because what you said, because what? Can you
You have
repeat?
two s
Two
values.
x values.
So this is not linear, that's true.
And there's also technically there's a negative x in
Exactly.
yeah.
This is nice. This is what I'm going to say. Because this is, if I want to like write it, like rewrite it in different way, this is look like 3 over x plus 5x equal 1. It's look like 3 times x to the power minus 1 plus 5x equal 1. And the minus here, see the minus? And here is like, the minus is exactly like 1 over 2. So because we have the exponent is minus 1, this is mean not linear. Third one, fourth one, is it a linear?
I would say no because there's a variable in both sides.
But what about if we like move the variable from this one side to another and make it one variable?
It doesn't. It would cancel itself out.
It-
You just that one just sets x equal to x.
So it's like, so it is a linear. Like, is it if I wanna, like you said, cancel, like if I wanna combine both of them?
You'd end up with 3x over 2x minus 6 equals 0.
So this is what? Linear, right? So this is yes, linear.
Really?
This is a true linear. Explain why. Even if I have the important things for looking for linear or not linear, the exponent of the variable must be 1. This is the first things. Second things, this things here, this equation is equivalent to this one, ax plus b equals 0. Why? Because if I want to subtract x over 3 from both sides, x over 2 minus 6 equal x over 3. So I subtract x over 3 from both sides. This is giving me x over 2 minus x over 3 minus 6 equal what? Here 0. Now I can combine this
Oh,
two
yeah, that
fractions.
makes sense.
This is give me like another one, like if I want to combine like two calculation here, I can get 1x. So this is actually, let me go to next slide. I will go back. So x over 2 minus x over 3 and here what I have minus 6 from 0, and this is equivalent cross multiply 3x minus 2x over 6. How I think about this? Again, cross multiply. Let me explain this one. X over 2 plus minus x over 3 plus this one with this one, this one with this one, this one with this one. Give me here. Minus 6 equals 0. This is equal 3x minus 2x is x over 6. X over 6 minus 6 equals 0. This is, if I want to like write it in different way, is equal 1 over 6 times x minus 6 equals 0. And this is exactly equivalent to ax plus b equals 0.
Sorry to ask this, Professor. Can you go back one page?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
So yes, here. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is, yes, it is a linear equation. So now we learn how is to know this is a linear or not linear. Now we're going to go to solve a linear equation. So now solving linear equation. So the example is I will start by using examples. Solve this equation 7x plus 4 equal 3x minus 8. So I'll give you the idea. When you see something like that, equation equal equation, I prefer to make all the x's, all the variables in one side and all the numbers in one side. Makes sense?
-3.
This is what I prefer. Like, I mean, try to move all the x's in one side and all the numbers in one side. Okay, what does that mean? Here, in this equation, I want to move the 3x to the other side. I want to move this one here. So what I have to do, I have to subtract 3x from both sides. So actually when I subtract 3x from both sides, this one will cancel with this one. So this one will be
X.
cancelled with this one. Now, I get what? 7x
4x.
minus 3x, 4x, yes, exactly. Here plus 4 equal minus 8. This is minus 8. Now I'm going to move the numbers to the other side. What I have to do, I just add 4 for both sides. So 7x minus 3x, like he said, 4x. Now we're moving.
You have positive 4 now.
Now
The minus.
oh, sorry. So it's positive, we subtract. Yes. So here we subtract. So here we have positive 4, we subtract 4, we subtract 4. So when we subtract 4 from both sides, this guy will be cancelled. This is equal minus 8 minus 4 is, what is the answer?
Negative 12.
Negative 12. Now, we multiply. Now I need the answer x equals something. So what I have to do here,
Divide by 4.
divide by 4, or I have to multiply by fraction 1 over 4. Multiply by 1 over 4. Again, this 4 will cancel with the fraction. So I get x equal minus 12 over 4. What's the answer? Minus
3.
negative 3. So my x equal negative 3. This is how to solve linear equation. Any questions so far? So to make sure the negative 3 is an answer for this equation, I have to plug this number inside this equation. There is a web question said, check if this solution is working with this equation. To check that, you have to plug the answer inside this equation. Okay, let me go over and plug the answer inside the equation. In the left-hand side, I'm gonna do it here in this corner. So left-hand side.
Yes, it's there. The solution is correct.
Yeah. So I have to plug the negative 3 inside the variable x. 7 times minus 3 plus 4. What is the answer?
Negative 21 plus 4, negative 17.
Negative 17.
See,
Right hand side. 3 times minus 3 minus 8. What is the answer? 3 times minus 3 is minus 9. Minus 9 minus 8 is negative 17. So this is true. Left hand side equal to the right hand side. So this is work for this equation. Any question? So this is work. Let's go to the next slide. So another example. Sample set z over 5 equal 3 over 10 z plus 3. This is linear. This is a linear equation.
Yes.
Yes, why? Because the exponent for the z, the variable, is 1. And this is equivalent to the ax plus b equals 0. Now, how can I solve this one? Like I,
Subtract 3 out of 3 over 10 z on both sides.
yes, so I subtract 3 over 10 z because I need the variable in one side and the numbers in the other side. So they give me, what's that they give me? What's the answer here? It cancelled. Z over 5 minus 3 over 10z equal 3. Now this is a fraction. As we learned in the previous sections, how we can like subtract fraction.
Same denominator.
Yes. So 1 over 5 minus 3 over 10, one fraction I make it, times z equal 3. So here I factored. Now, this fraction from previous section, we have to make the denominator are equal. This is the first idea. Second idea, or can we do cross multiply, or we can finding the least common denominator. I'm going to use the way we have to use before, cross multiply, because I think it's the easiest way. So 1 times 10 is 10. 5 times minus 3, it is minus 15 over 10 times 5 times 10 is 50. So they give me minus 5 over 50. I can simplify it by dividing both sides by 5. They give me minus 1 over 4 over 10. So this thing is minus 1 over 10. So let me continue solving the question. This is equal minus 1 over 10 z equal 3. Now what I have to do? What I do here?
Multiply by the reciprocal of negative 1 over 10.
Yes, exactly.
That
So
will
we have
be negative 30.
negative. Okay. So multiplying both sides by the reciprocal, 10 over minus 1. Here, 10 over minus 1. This will be cancelled. I get z equal minus 30. This is the answer. To check this is the answer, you have to plug it inside the formula. Here, this formula. Go plug these things inside the formula and make sure the answer is right. Okay? So this is exercise for all of you. Check. Plug it inside the formula. Any question before we move to next slide? Okay. So now we're going to learn solve for one variable in term of other. Solve for one variable in terms of others. What does that mean? I give you example to explain the idea. The question is solve for the variable m in the equation. If I have equation as f equal g times m small m times capital M over r squared. In other words, the question asks me, what is the formula when m equal something? How can I make m equal something from this formula, this equation?
You have to put it alone on one side of the equals sign, right?
So how can I start doing this?
We divide by g in both sides and then multiply by r square over m,
Okay,
lowercase m in both sides.
then I divided by the small m, right? But I can starting this example.
It will be f times r squared over g over g times lowercase m.
Perfect. This is the true answer. But I can solve this one before, instead of I doing like a lot of multiplication, I can like factor the m from this side. This means f equal, if I want to factor the m, they give me g times m small m over r squared parentheses times m capital M. So now I want to cancel all this parentheses by doing one multiplication. So I multiply the both side by what? The reciprocal of this one. The reciprocal is r squared over capital G times capital small m. And the same things from the other side times r squared over G times m small m. So this parentheses with this parentheses will be cancelled. Why? Because this is the reciprocal for each other. So this one, they are inverse for each other. They will cancel. So now they give me uh, f times r squared over g times small m is equal m capital. Or I can write it as m capital equal f times r squared is f r squared over g m small m. Any question? Makes sense. So this is the mean of solve for variable m in the equation. Or I can, like he said, one of you said, I can multiply by both sides by r squared, then I divided by g, then I divided by small m, then I will get the same answer. This is true. This is also true. Okay. So now we're going to learn how to solve the quadratic equations. So we learn how to do it for linear equation. Now the quadratic equation. Solving quadratic equation. What is the meaning of the quadratic equation? What does that mean? Quadratic equation. What is the quadratic equation?
An equation with a square.
Equation with a square. Like anything with the exponent equal to. So I can define it as is an equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So again, a, b, c, all of them real numbers, and a here must be not equal 0, such that a, b, c belong to the real numbers, and a not equal 0. Make sense? So I have a property before I start solving quadratic equation. Said if I have equation, sorry, a, b equals 0, this is mean a equals 0 or the second part equals 0. The first one equals 0 or the second part equals 0. Second one is equal 0. This property will help me a lot for solving quadratic equation. Okay, let me give you example and show you how the property gonna help me for solving quadratic equation. Example, solving quadratic equation look like x squared plus 5x equal 24. So how can I start thinking for this one? I have to make the quadratic equation look like this. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is the first things. Second things, I have to factor the quadratic equation. Third things, I have to use the property, this property. So if you need it as a step, I have to make it as equivalent to this equation, ax plus bx plus c equals 0. Second step, factor it. Third step, use the property. This property. And above. How can I solve this one? Yalla, let's go. Let's do it.
We subtract minus 24 on both sides, and that we
Yes.
set it equal to 0.
Nice. So to solve this one, we have to subtract 24 from both sides. Minus 24, minus 24. What I have to get, what I get?
S squared plus 5s minus 24.
Exactly.
Battery will be x plus 8 times x minus 3.
X minus,
S plus 8
okay,
times
okay,
s minus 3.
nice. So we factor it by learning from the previous sections how to factor it. That minus 24, which number I have to multiply by, like I have to choose two numbers such that the multiplication for these two numbers is minus 24. And the addition of these two numbers is 5. Like Angel, he said, the two numbers is positive 8 and negative 3. Why? Positive 8 times negative 3 is minus 24. Positive 8 minus 3, they give me 5. So these two numbers are working for this uh, trinomial equation. So now here is equal x plus 8 times x minus 3, and they give me 0.
The zeros are negative 8
8,
and positive 3.
perfect. So now he used this property. By using this property, because this is A, this is my A, this is my B. Go back to the property AB equals 0. So he said x plus 8, my A equals 0, or x or x minus 3 is equal 0. So here I get a linear equation like previous slide, how to solve a linear equation like this one. So here to solve the linear equation, I subtract 8 from both sides. Minus 8 minus 8. It gave me x equal minus 8. Or I add 3 for both sides to cancel 3. They give me x equal 3. To make sure
So
that this is the answer, just you go back to the equation and you plug it, and you will get exact, it's working for both. It will gonna work for the equation. What's your question? Anyone has a question? Is it clear? Okay. I'm going to give you another example. The example is, go to the next slide. So the example is z square equal 4. How we solve the quadratic. This is quadratic equation, first of all. This is a quadratic equation or linear equation.
quadratic.
Quadratic. Why? Because the exponent here is equal to. The highest power is equal to.
We take the square root on both sides.
Okay. We can take the square root of the both sides, but can we solve it like the previous steps? Similar to
Yeah,
this.
we should transform both sides.
Okay, so
We take the
Subtract 4.
difference square will be positive 2 the s plus 2 times
So,
minus 2.
so z squared minus 4 equals 0. Now, what property can I use for this one? How can I factor this one? How can I factor this one?
Z plus 2, Z minus 2.
Exactly. Z minus 2 times C plus 2 equals 0. Now I'm using the third property that said A times B equals 0. This is mean A equals 0, or second one is equal 0. Now, how can I use this property? So Z minus 2 equals 0, or Z plus 2 equals 0. Here it's linear. It's become linear. So I have to add 2 for both sides. Okay. Then I get Z equal 2. This is the first solution. Or subtract 2 for both sides. So they give me Z equal minus 2. And this is the second solution. Is good? Any question so far? Yes, what's your question? Musician.
I was just saying that, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, okay. Another example. I'm sorry, I gave you a lot of examples, I know. Do you like more example or you don't like examples? Who like examples?
I do.
Who else like examples?
They're good. They're helpful.
Who don't like examples? You don't like
I like the examples.
Mm.
Examples is good. This is good.
Sure. So who doesn't like examples? Can you tell me, like I want to count how many one who doesn't like a lot of quizzes, examples. Only one? Can you vote in the by if you like example, just put check. If you don't like examples, just put the X to make sure. Okay. Who like more? And the check. Also, who like? Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. Who doesn't like examples? Just only one? So the second one is 2x to the power 2 equal, no, I'm not going to use x, I'm going to use z. 2z squared equal 8. This is like similar, it's close to this one, but it's not the same answer, it's not the same example. But
The coefficient of 2. I think you could just divide both sides by 2 before
yes,
doing the same on the other side.
I can divide, yeah, I can divide both sides by 2, but also I can use the same idea like before. This is, I'm sorry, I said this is exactly the same exam, like similar to this example, but in different, I mean, different shape. This is what I mean. But the answer is gonna be exactly the same root. This is same solution. But I mean, it has different shape. Like we have 2z squared equal 8, and here we have z squared equal 4. So we can, like he said, divide by both sides by 2, and when I divide both sides by 2, they're gonna give me z squared equal 4. And when I get z squared equal 4, they give me the same answer like this example. Or if I don't like to divide both sides by 2, I can subtract the 8 from both sides. And I do the same step like before. Okay, so let me just doing the steps like before to explain more. So I subtract 8 from both sides. Minus 8, minus 8. They give me 2 z squared minus 8 equals 0. Now I factor this one. So I found the greatest common factor. What's the greatest common factor between these two terms?
2.
2. Z squared minus 4. Now I can factor this one again, like this. What is the factor? Is difference squared. Z minus 2 times z plus 2. Give me 0. Now 2 cannot be equal 0. Here it's not a variable. If it's variable, I can set z equals 0. But this is number. You have to make sure this is number. Number cannot be equal 0. I can cancel number. I can cancel the number by dividing the number by 2, or I multiply both sides by 1 over 2 to cancel the number. So this one with this one, and here they give me 0. So I get z minus 2 times z plus 2 give me 0. Now, because I have variables here, I can set z minus 2 equals 0. This is the trick. Equals 0, or z plus 2 equals 0. Okay? Again, I can't set 2 equals 0, z minus 2 equals 0. I can set z minus 2 equals 0, z plus 2 equals 0, but I can't set 2 equals 0. I have to cancel the 2 because it's a number. How can I cancel it? By multiply both sides by 1/2. Or I divided both sides by 2. So now the same answer like before. This is give me z equal 2. Here's z equal minus 2. Makes sense? Any question? Let's go to another slide. So here we have another way to solve a quadratic equation. It's called a quadratic formula. By using the quadratic formula. So another way to solve quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula. So what's the quadratic formula? The quadratic formula, what is it?
I'm pretty sure it was
Negative v plus or minus the square root of
Yes.
4a
I think so.
Yeah. It's
4ab squared.
for AC.
Oh,
Okay. Let me do it. So here, by using the quadratic formula, now I can solve any quadratic equation without factoring or without any like easy direct. So it says if I have quadratic equation, the equation look like ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So the quadratic formula, so the quadratic formula is find the root as x equal minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. b, it's the second term, the number of the second term. b square minus 4aca, it's the number in the real number in the first term. c is the real number in the third term over 2a. But before we using this quadratic formula, we should to check something is called discriminant. So what is the discriminant? Let me explain more. So the discriminant, so we should to check the discriminant is d equal b square minus 4ac. So I have to check d. If this d, I have to check d equal b square minus 4ac. If d is greater than 0, this is mean positive, then the equation has two, then the equation has two distinct solutions. If this d equals 0, then the equation has one real solution. If d negative number, this is mean negative, then the equation, I mean for the equation, the quadratic equation has no solution, or I mean no roots. So before I use this quadratic formula, I have to check the d. The d, it's b square. It's the similar to the inside the under the radical. Look, d is b square minus 4ac. I have to check this one. If d is positive, we have two different solutions. d is 0, this is mean I have one only real solution. If d is negative, so that's mean I don't have any real solution. Okay. Okay, let me give example for using the quadratic formula. Okay, can I go to the next slide?
Yeah.
So now solve by using quadratic formula. So the question is x squared plus 4x minus 1 equals 0. How can I solve it? First, before you solve it, you have to write it down here. A equal, B equal, C equal. What is A equal? This is my A. This is my B. This is my C. What is A equal? What is A equal from this quadratic? A
1,
equal 1, yes. B
4,
4, C
-1.
negative 1. Now, I have to, before I start doing this solving by using the quadratic formula, I have to check the D, the discriminant. D equal B squared minus 4AC. I plug inside this formula. I have B, I have A, and I have C. B is 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times C minus 1. And they give me 4 squared 16. Minus times minus is positive, and 1 times 1 times 4 is plus 4. They give me 20. And the 20 is greater than 0. This is mean is positive number. This is mean this quadratic equation, they're gonna give me two distinct solutions. So what they are x equal, by using the quadratic equation, minus b plus or negative square root of the distinct d, this d, over 2a. Makes sense? Okay, I have to now plug everything inside this formula. Who will help me? So x equal, what is b? Minus 4 plus minus d, it's 20 from above, over 2 times a. What is a? 1. 2. Again, d is b squared minus 4ac is the discriminant. Who confused? D is the same as this. Okay? So what's the solution? So the solution are x equal minus 4 plus 20 square root of 20 over 2, or minus 4 is equal minus 4 minus square root of 20 over 2. Makes sense? Any questions so far? So again, you must check this thing, this one, the D, the discriminant. Then you use the quadratic formula. We don't have to factor. Same idea, you can use it for the previous example, for this one, and for this one too. Make sense? Okay. Another question. Another example. Solve this quadratic equation. 1 over 3 x squared minus 2x plus 4 equals 0. What is A? B, C. What is A?
1 over 3.
1 over 3. B,
2.
minus 2. Don't forget the minus.
And
C,
4.
4. What's the discriminant? B squared minus 4AC. What is B? Is minus 2 squared minus 4 times A, it's 1 over 3 times C is 4. They gave me the answer is 4 minus 4 times 4, 16 over 3. Now, by using the previous sections, we can solve this one. So the answer is 12 minus 16. They give me minus what? 16 minus 12 minus 16 is minus 4 over 3. What is that number? Is negative. So this means I can't find the solution for this quadratic equation. So no roots, no solution. We stop. Okay, makes sense? Because this is negative, the discriminant is negative. This means no solution of the real numbers on the real numbers set. So no solutions. Make sense? So now I can determine if this quadratic equation has solution or doesn't have solution by finding the discriminant. Okay. Now let's go to the something is called completing the square. Completing. Before we going over the completing the square, let me give you like small or like property. If I have a simple quadratic equation as x squared equal number c. So the solution is direct. What's the solution? X equal the square root of c, or x equal minus square root of c. So I can use this property for the previous example, like this one. Z square equal 4. I can use the property I talk about this right now. This is equal direct. Here. So the solution can be direct. Z equal square root of 4, or Z equal minus square root of 4. What's the square root of 4? Is 2. Or Z equal minus 2. This is by using the property. Makes sense? Why? Because this is simple quadratic equation. Any simple quadratic equation, I can use this property. Now, go back here. Now, how to completing the square? So I talk about this property. Now, how to completing the square? Completing square. So if I have, for example, a quadratic equation look like this, x squared plus bx without the third term, quadratic equation by two terms. Okay, so the perfect square, to get the perfect square, we just add one things. We just add for both sides b over 2 squared. And this is when I add to this equation, when I add to this equation, this one, this parentheses, they're gonna give me something like that. I'll show you. So they're going to give me x squared plus bx plus b over 2 squared. And this is has look like exactly like x plus b over 2 squared. And this is called perfect square. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we know how to do the perfect square, how to obtain the perfect square from any like quadratic equation. So I'll give you example. to explain how to count, how to find the quadratic, how to find the completing the square. By the way, before I forget, next week, next Tuesday, we have a quiz for the two sections, 1.3 and 1.4. Okay,
Do we have quiz next Thursday?
next Tuesday, next Tuesday. So I will post it in the Blackboard, and I will tell you, yeah, I will post again in the Blackboard to remind you. Yeah. So again, next Tuesday, don't forget we have a quiz. Yeah. Complete. Okay, example for completing the square. So the question is complete it's the square for x squared minus 8x plus 13 equals 0. So how I can completing the square for this quadratic equation? So first things to think about these things, I have to make the equation look like ax squared plus bx equal c. Then I have to add for both sides b over 2 squared plus b over 2 squared. So by this steps, I will get completing the square. So now, how can I change the quadratic equation for this one to be like, look like this?
We subtract 13 both sides.
Subtract 13 for both sides. When I subtract, they give me x squared minus 8x equal minus 13. So now it's look like this for me. Now to complete the square, what I have to add? B over 2. What is the b over 2? Minus 8 over 2 squared plus minus 8 over 2 squared. What is the minus 8 over 2? Is 4 squared actually. So we're doing x squared minus 8x plus 4 squared.
No, yeah, 16.
It's 416. It's 16 over 4 squared. Minus 13 plus 4 squared. I simplify it more. X squared minus 8x plus 16 equal minus 13 plus 16 is minus 13 plus 16 is 3. Now the completing square for this quadratic is x, going back here, it's x plus b over 2, everything square. Look this, x plus b over 2, it's minus 8 over 2, everything square, equal 3. This is equal x minus 4, everything square, equal 3. Now, how can I solve something like that? This is simple a quadratic equation. This is simple quadratic equation. Go back here to this. If I have a simple quadratic equation as x squared equals c, the solution is x equals square root of c or x equals minus square root of c. So the same things here, x minus 4, everything square equal 3. It's similar to the same property. So we have two solutions.
So we
Okay,
first take the square root of s minus 4 and 3.
is equal, yes, exactly. Square root of 3
Then
or
we add 4.
x minus 4 equals minus square root of 3.
It will be plus or minus.
One is plus, one is minus.
Yeah. And
Now
then
we
we add
add
4.
4. We add 4. Here we add 4. Here we add 4. We give me x equal 4 plus square root of 3 or x equal 4 minus square root of 3. This is the two solution. Make sense? Anyone has a question? So again, here by using the property from previous slide, it said x plus p over 2 everything square. X plus p over 2 everything square equal 3. Okay, so here x square minus 8x plus 16, we're using this property, x plus p over 2 everything square is equal x plus minus 8 because the b is minus 8 over 2 everything square. This is equal 3. Then we simplify it is equal x minus 4 everything square equal 3. By using the previous property, we take the square root for both sides plus square root of 3 negative square root of 3. Now we're solving this as a linear equation. Why? Because the exponent of x is 1, so it's a linear. We add 4 for both sides, and they give me x equal 4 plus square root of 3. Here we add 4 for both sides, they give me x equal 4 minus square root of 3. So we're going to stop until here today. Anyone has a question? Okay, stop recording for the class.